welcome back to another episode of Over the Glass. I am your host, Jay.
I am other host, Ness.
And today, I guess we're going to talk a little bit about the Sharks, as we do.
Shocker.
I know. So this week for the Sharks, Ferraro went down. Ferraro went down in a very concerning manner. We know him as kind of, I don't know if he's still leading the league this season in blocks, but we know this man puts his body on the line for the team. You know, we've talked about the feelings around the fan base in terms of Ferraro's production and playing out on the ice and whatever. But we can't deny this guy's dedication and devotion to always trying to put his best work out on the ice day in and day out. And I believe it was a slap shot or something. Whatever the case may be, he got hit right in front of the crease and he went down and he wasn't getting up. And you knew it was bad because this guy will hobble around on the ice even after he's gotten hit, because he's like, no, we're still on the kill. I need to help. And, you know, so for him to not get up, you're like, this is bad. This is bad. And then he got helped off. And then I think it was a couple of days later, we find out that Ferraro's out for the season, which is, we've got a couple of games left. So it's not like, or anything. But he did break his ankle.
Yeah, is this the first time that he's dealt with a pretty big injury like that? Aside from like getting his teeth knocked out.
If you recall, it was like a lower body injury and we thought he would be out for the season. I think this was like a couple of seasons back, and maybe because he's super young, he miraculously healed like overnight. It seemed like from us thinking, oh man, he's out for the season, to like, oh, he's rehabbing, he's, you know, day to day or whatever it was. Like, I think he like got like a fracture or something, lower body injury. So outside of that, he really hasn't been in any position where he's, you know, been out for like more than a couple of months. So I guess given the situation with the Sharks and us whittling down on the season here, it just sucks because this dude got married and he probably was like, had some summer plans, you know, honeymoon or whatever. And now he's going to be, I'm sure he'll make the most of it, but it kind of sucks for him. He's, you know, yeah, shitty to see.
Right. Was that the game on Thursday?
I want to say so.
Okay. Again, I wasn't able to catch the games this week, but I did catch highlights. Specifically, the game. Who did they play when they scored 7 goals but still lost?
That was the Wild. They came back like crazy in the third period. And then all I know is who scored in OT, but I guess I wasn't all that bummed out, but I thought it was really exciting. I think that was the game where Celebrini got the hat trick, and it was like ridiculous. But speaking of Celebrini, Kovalenko has been back in the lineup after being scratched for a handful of games, and he's on the line with Celebrini and Smith, and they have been looking real good. So I guess there's a case to be made about why has Kovalenko been scratched in favor of other players that have been put up in the lineup. I would say his 3 points in the last 3 games will be the message he's sending to the coaching staff that keep me in the lineup. I can make things happen, especially keeping up with these 2 kids.
Right.
Like, you know, I can help make a difference. So I also do want to give praise to Jack Thompson and Liljegren. I've been pretty happy with the acquisition of Liljegren. I want to say that, maybe he just was kind of getting buried or being put in situations with the Leafs that just kind of put him in a bad light, or maybe, the expectations were so much higher with, of course, Toronto continuously being knocked out in the first round. Like, they're not looking to give anybody any bit of leadway. The leash is very, very short over in Toronto versus here. We're giving you the opportunity and, new environment. And I think Liljegren has been doing a really good job of taking this opportunity and running with it. And then with Jack Thompson, he's been spending most of his time down in the AHL, and he's been kind of going up and down, with like veteran defensemen creating the opportunity when they go down to give these younger guys an opportunity to come up. And in particular, during the Wild game, I felt like Jack Thompson was really starting to shine. Like, he had some real nice slappers from the point that were like, the moment he got, it was like he was getting fed these pucks, and, he would set up and he would immediately get it down in front of the net, which is exactly what you want your defenseman to be doing in these opportunities, to generate the rebounds, get the forwards to get those scoring chances. And so I just really wanted to put the praise out there for these two young guys, because this is really nice to see for a team that, once again, down in the bottom, we officially have clenched the best odds to get the first overall pick yet again for this upcoming draft. So with that, and then this news, I think there's a lot of great things to look forward to, not only for the off season, but for the upcoming season.
Yeah. Since we're talking about like what we're looking forward to, did you mention that Musty was called up? Did we talk about that last week?
That's on my list to say next.
Whoops, jumping the gun here. Well, okay, so one, Quentin Musty was called up from, I think his season was over with the Wolves. They got knocked out of the playoffs, so he was eligible to come over here. He wasn't eligible to play for the CUDA at all this year because he has a later birthday or something. So he wasn't old enough to play in the AHL. I guess now he's closer to, how old is he? 19, so he'll be 20 soon. They're allowing him to play now. I wasn't able to catch that game. Seems like the CUDA lost, but there's some things happening where Musty joined that lineup, and then Bordelot was called up to the Sharks, so he'll be playing a couple games here, which will be really interesting to see because we did talk about this last week. Also really interesting that they called up Bordelot and not Gushchin. I don't know why. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been able to catch CUDA games. I haven't been able to keep up with how well these players have been playing, what the coaches are seeing, if I could pick up on that. But it's interesting. Also, yeah, I was going to talk about the draft, but now I'm just flowing through everything. Go ahead.
Well, we can talk a little bit about that after we kind of get through what's kind of happened during this week. But yes, bringing up Bordelot, that'll be interesting to see, taking a look at where he's been with his season. I mean, as much as we try to follow our baby Sharks, it's so much hockey, not enough time. But
Right.
We've kind of seen things along the way, and now Bordelot will be able to take this opportunity. 3 games left in the season, and he's a pending RFA. This is a big off season for him, where his future lies. So if I'm Bordelot, I mean, it just got said for this game as we record on Sunday, the game against the Flames, he will be playing with Ostapchuk and Grundstrom, which is, I believe, our 4th line. So he's going to get very limited minutes, but with those minutes, you can make a big impact And he's got a big assignment coming up for this game, for the next 3 games before the end of the season. And then after that, he'll join the CUDA again. And they clinched the sixth spot in the Pacific for the playoffs. So hopefully they're going to have a nice long run there.
Is Christian also an RFA this season?
Yes.
Okay.
So both of them, So if you want to hear kind of our, not so much speculation, like I tried just to take things as they are, just because we could speculate and have a whole episode of that. And I don't really know if anyone wants to hear that. I personally, it's just a whole lot of unknowns, and because we don't follow the CUDA as closely, like I feel like I just don't have much to go off of. But we do know that in the past, when they've been brought up, they've shown little sparks of they could be a good piece moving forward. But as we mentioned last week, these are 2 players that Greer did not draft, and we know he has a different vision than Doug Wilson. So there's a whole lot of things that could be going on here, but all that to come back to the fact that, well, Bordeleau's here now. He got called up. So the most that he can do is do his best with the minutes that he's going to be given for the next couple of games moving on here. On top of the Quentin Musty debut yesterday, Chernyshov was brought over as well to the CUDA, but he did not play yesterday. But I think there's the next game for the CUDA is on Friday, so more than likely he will make his pro debut there. So another great thing to look forward to. During the game against the Ontario Reign, Beasted got boarded, and some random named Glenn Gaudin is on my hit list. Because what is that about? What are you doing? So he went down. He needed to get helped off the ice, and I'm just not a fan of that. Why are you boarding people? And apparently nothing got called.
Yeah, the AHL is a different beast. Do we know if he's okay? Like, is he going to be okay for playoffs?
As of right now, that's all I know.
Oh.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to catch the Flames game against the Sharks later today, which is already one sucks. I want to see Bordeleau, and we've been following him for the last couple of seasons, and we've talked about it, whenever he's come up. So I was really looking forward to seeing him. So I guess I'm gonna have to wait on that. So going back to the CUDA, though, their next game is on Friday, and I'm gonna try really hard to catch some of that game because the Sharks season is over this coming week. So we need to shift gears and start looking into these guys. A lot of them we're hoping that are going to be in the lineup next season.
Right. It's like we get a little taste of playoffs again, huh? In San Jose. Forgot what that's like.
The CUDA had their fan appreciation game the other day, and it was sold out.
Oh, that's nice. Love the support for our baby Sharks.
So before we get into some other stuff, I'm going to take a moment to talk about our sponsors. The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for an all high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered and is official sports betting partner of the NBA. Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40 or more? It's your call. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Boyd in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. All right. So if anybody follows us, also follows basketball. Ness, you went to a game recently. How are things going in the NBA universe?
I went to one game.
Well, that's more than I've been to this season. So
yeah, so I went to my very first Warriors game this past Wednesday. It was a pretty exciting game. They were playing against the Spurs, went into OT, and like 3 seconds into OT, the Spurs ended it with a three-pointer by Harrison Barnes, who used to play for the Golden State Warriors years ago. Anyways, the Warriors are in playoffs and are currently fighting for their seed. The way I've recently learned, I don't know much about basketball, but I'm learning because I'm getting prepared to follow the Valkyries. The seeding for NBA, I think, is more like their placement. It has nothing to do with points like we do with hockey. It's basically how many wins they have. And right now, the Warriors are in 6th place. My friend who is getting me into basketball is like, we don't want to be anywhere around 7th through 10th place. I think 10th, 7th through 9th, something like that. Because that means they'll have to play the best teams in the conference, right? So right now, and in 6th place, I think they play the Clippers, as opposed to like the Thunder or the Rockets, who are doing really well. So, yeah, I don't know. That's as much as I know, but I'm learning. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Well, if you're also in the situation of wanting to learn and looking to place bets on Tuesday, the Hawks go against the Magic. The Hawks are a plus 170 to the minus 205 Magic. But, if you don't care too much about that, we've got hockey for you. On Monday, the New York Rangers play the Panthers. The Rangers are a plus 136 to the negative 162 Panthers. And then the Blackhawks go against the Habs. The Hawks are a plus 210 to the Habs, negative 258. Speaking of the Habs, I was talking with a friend of mine about I'm less excited about the playoffs this season, mostly because in the past I've kind of had a team that I was rooting for. But speaking of the Rangers decided to be real dumb this season. So they are not making the playoffs. And I'm like, what now? What does this mean to me now? Like, this means nothing to me. So I'm thinking maybe I will root for an underdog like the Habs or like the Senators, who are making the playoffs for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I think the Senators specifically, because the last time they were in playoffs, I believe, was in 2016 when Carlson was still captain. Something like that. Dude, it's been like 9 years. The Habs were in it more recently when they were in the COVID playoffs.
How they made it that far.
By chance.
And then they just got slapped around in the finals, as we were expecting that they would have in the quarterfinals. Like they went against the Leafs, right? Which was hilarious in itself. was hilarious in itself. But yeah, I don't follow them terribly closely, but I do remember Carey Price was still in the lineup, and Carey was carrying that team, dragging that team to the finals. So fast forward to 2025, the Habs are looking much better these days. They're quite exciting, especially with the quarterback of Lane Hudson on their power play. That was another thing that I was talking about, like how crazy it is. Speaking of Lane Hudson, his older brother, his first name escapes me. Older brother Hudson got signed entry-level contract with the Oilers. He plays in the forward position. So I saw that this morning and I'm like, okay, that's a thing. But anyways, so yeah, playoffs, I guess for me, like maybe I'll root for one of those teams because don't really care outside of that. That's just my vibe right now. I don't care.
We always like to root for the underdog every year.
Before we get into anything else non-Sharks, do want to wrap up that there were a few things we wanted to bring up last week and stuff got away from us. But I do want to give praise to, look, as Sharks fans, we know it's hard to sell this team to people who maybe are not big on sports or don't know anything about hockey, especially during a time where the team is not winning a whole lot. I mean, Ness, you talked last week about the game you went to and you're like, man, like I wish they would have played better because like my entire extended family is here. But you know, I didn't get to catch any of that game, but like I want to say that, you know, if you're bringing new folks to a game, just the aspect of hanging out and being at a sporting event is exciting in itself. But from like our perspective, it's like, man, they're not passing well on the ice and they're not doing this. Like, God, like these people around me are bored.
Other people are perfectly happy, specifically on a giveaway night, right? Because they're experiencing a sports game and they get a free thing in the process. I mean, it's obviously it's added in the ticket fee, but whatever. Last weekend, when we were supposed to bring this up for Fan Appreciation Night, they gave away these cute little Sharky stands. We both got them in the mail. We weren't expecting it or nothing.
It is incredibly cute.
Yeah, I think this came around my birthday. And so I was like, oh, happy birthday to me, you know?
They're like, oh, they thought of me. They thought of me.
How did they know?
Yeah, so apparently this was the voted in item by fans that I don't recall seeing.
I think I do. I voted for the Sunnies.
Okay. Well, I don't recall seeing it, but good job, Sharks territory, because this is cute. I don't really know where I'm gonna put it, but this is cute.
Hang out back here for now with Spidey.
Yes. and then it got me thinking, out of all the giveaways from this past season, I think this is my favorite giveaway.
Oh, you went! I wanted that so bad.
So I'm holding up, that are listening, I'm holding up a fanny pack-ish crossbody, crossbody bag. It's got like the font's like a bit of a inflated, silly teal, and like, what color is this?
It's like just different shades of teal.
Light teal. Different shades of teal on the font. And then it's got a stitched in like rubber fin at the bottom here, and then the
Dude, do you have an extra one?
I do not. My friend that I went with definitely wanted his bag. So,
Man,
but
so nice.
I carry this around with me everywhere. This is my new like go-to bag, and there are a lot of folks that were walking around the arena like already using it and stuff. So I think that one's probably my favorite one.
That one's perfect for games, like you have the limited size bags. I bring my own crossbody bag. It's basically the same size. It's just black. So I was like, I would love the Sharks one for the games. Couldn't make it out.
And then we also want to talk about the trading cards that are going to be given away on the 16th. Are you gonna open up your bag?
Oh, yes, I would love to. I'm gonna share this with you guys. So the Sharks sent out again. We weren't expecting this. We just got it in the mail. The Upper Deck Sharks trading cards. So it has all players. I'm opening it now. Obviously, the first one here is Macklin Celebrini to draw you in. They'll be giving these away this coming 16th Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, which is cool. For like, I'm not into trading cards. I got a couple, maybe one time. I forgot why. But for those of you who don't collect, on the back it has information about the players, their height, their weight, what side they shoot, where they're born, and then some stats, right? So there's a Macklin. There's a Will Smith. Hey, pretty good. I don't remember this guy being on the team. Logan Couture.
Who's that man?
Apparently our captain. Haven't seen him in a second. Oh, cool. Toffoli. Eklund. Look at him. So serious. Ugh. So cool. Askarov.
Yes.
I think my favorite card, though, is the last one. We get a Sharky card.
Sharky.
Because on the back, I want to read the back to you. So, like I said, it gives details about the players, like what position they play. So for Sharky, he's a center, and in parentheses, it says of attention. Height, tall, weight, heavy, or a lot less in the ocean. Shoots t-shirts. Born January 28th, 1992, Aquarius. Likes head chomps, high fives, the ocean, and Sharks fans. Dislikes Police Chief Martin Brody from the movie Jaws and Kings fans. And then a little bit about him is SJ Sharkey lives up to his title as the hardest working fish in sports by pulling off stunts and theatrics during the hockey season, bringing the fun, proving the future is teal. So that's really fun. That's probably my favorite one, just for the giggles. But in seriousness, honestly, really excited that there's an Askarov one in here. It's pretty sick.
The cards that they gave out in the beginning of the season, last minute frenzy of the Askarov trade, the cards had Magnus Krona in it.
Oh, okay.
I was like, no. But it's nice that they've had time now during the season, and I think they played a little more safe with this pack.
Yeah.
This pack was that like let's choose the guys that we know are definitely going to be sticking around. So if you're a big fan of trading cards, they're giving these away on Wednesday. So
yeah, go get them. I don't have to go because I already got them.
Trading cards. Oh, good for you.
Honestly, if y'all can't make it out to the game, we are looking to do some sort of giveaway somehow. Haven't decided how, because I have a little collection here, a little pile of things.
If you listen to our podcast, we want to give back to our listeners, our viewers.
Right now, considering doing individuals so there's multiple winners, or just doing a bulk and like have one lucky winner get a nice little package.
Or both. We could do both. As rough as it's been for the Sharks in terms of the organization to continue getting fans excited to come in to watch games and whatever, I think they've been pretty creative in a way to engage with the fan base with these different giveaways and stuff that they've been doing this season. Gabe Landeskog. He steps on the ice for a hockey game for the first time in 3 seasons. Conditioning assignment with the AHL, and I think that's kind of exciting.
No, for real. So he played his first game with the Eagles yesterday. They actually live streamed it, I think, on Flow Hockey, and I wanted to catch it, but it got away from me. I had to work, and a lot was going on. But I think I saw that he scored a goal in that game, so his conditioning's coming out really well. Maybe he'll be ready in time for the playoffs for the Avs. That'll mean a lot for them.
Yeah, maybe they'll get far enough that he can get back into, I don't know, from like rehab to his first game, and he's playing in the AHL. The Avs will have to give him a little more time to get synchronized with the speed and competitiveness of the game. But I think that's really cool to see, just in general, because there's been a number of hockey players. I don't know what the Capitals were doing, but I think it was something related to Ovi, maybe because he broke the record. And one of the players that came out was Braden Holtby, and I was like,
he had to.
One of those guys that's still kind of hanging around the team. I've seen him in the past. He's been helping out a little bit with coaching and whatever, but that's a player that, he got an injury and his career is kind of just, I guess at this point we're just kind of accepting that he's probably retired, even though he hasn't officially said it, just like a Carey Price, just like whatever's going on with Couture right now. So, all that to say, Landeskog, there has been a whole lot of we don't knows around him, and for him to be able to step out on the ice and play in a full game with the Colorado Eagles, I think that's really cool to see a player come back after so many seasons.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Especially, I can only imagine how excited Avs fans are seeing the news that, oh my gosh, he's getting close to coming back, because he was a really big part in their Stanley Cup run, right? Obviously, he's a captain. He's a great player. He means a lot to them in the locker room, and they haven't exactly done well without him in the playoffs. They look like a completely different team. Maybe not completely different, just different. Not good enough to win another cup, at least, So if there is a chance for him to make it back to the Avs lineup in time for playoffs, like even if the Avs are able to beat the Stars in the first round, and then it gives Landeskog some time, maybe, because these guys are impatient. Playoffs matter a lot, and they're gonna throw him in there. Any sign that says you're good to go, he's gonna be in there. But that'll be interesting to see, if he elevates the play of the Avs, or because he hasn't played with them in so long, it might change the dynamic a little bit.
I think maybe in terms of the locker room vibes, it'll be really positive all around for the players. I mean, the fact that he's been gone for so many seasons, the roster has changed,
right.
Rantanen's not in the lineup anymore.
He's going to be playing against Rantanen.
And is it official that the Avs are going against the Stars in the first round? Oh my God.
Yeah.
I might have to watch that just for the
drama.
Just for the drama that'll be around all that. But if he somehow can make it in there, I think it'll be interesting to see where the role that he plays, just because the roster has changed so much. And given that he hasn't, I mean, he's a pro, but realistically speaking, this like training and then skating around, the gap between that conditioning to actual gameplay conditioning on top of it being the playoffs.
Right.
Like, I think they'll kind of keep it realistic, shelter his minutes a little, if he does end up, if they do make a long run and he's able to join the team. I think just having him in any sort of capacity with the team, maybe not necessarily where he was previously with the team, but I think it'll be interesting to see. But before we get all of that, Colorado, Dallas first round matchup, like, couldn't have drawn it up better myself. Oh, I wanted to mention, I saw that Sheng Peng put out that Ruda being one of our pending UFAs at the end of the season. No surprise that this guy's saying, he's really hoping that he can come back with the Sharks next season. I guess, do you have any feelings on that?
No. I can't remember the last time I watched him play. I don't remember, like, is he in the lineup currently?
He's been injured for a hot minute. So.
Okay. So I think when he was playing earlier in the season, I didn't mind him the time he spent here. I don't hate the guy. I don't think he's terrible. It's not like who was it last season that we had that people were like on his ass. They were saying that he was like terrible, and then we were looking at his stats and he was like fine.
Benning?
Yes. Poor guy. It's not like a situation like that, right? I think I don't feel any one way if he leaves or if he stays. I think if he stays, it would be like a placeholder for another young guy to come in eventually. I don't see him being in part of our lineup in the future, like in the long term, because it seems like it doesn't seem like his play is the direction in where we're trying to go, if that makes sense. I don't think he's like an Erik Karlsson, It's like it's Jan Ruda.
Yeah, I think I feel a little similar. Like, I think if you sign him for another short contract and it's a fair deal, I mean, money wise, it's not something. Oh, speaking of money though, we're going to be done with Brett Burns's contract in the retention spot, so we'll get one available nice. After this season is done. So we're not exactly hurting for like money. Like, if anything, like we're in a very good position to give players realistically what they would want, as long as it works out for us. So if we need another veteran defenseman in the lineup, like I don't necessarily, I can't think of anything awful that Rude has done. He's not exactly like you said, like an Erik Karlsson where you're just like, yeah, we need to lock him in, and whatever. But just something that I saw. But I mean, I guess in terms of like the defense that we have, I mean, Vlasic's going to be here until his contract's done. So he's here for one more season. Ferraro is going to be a pending UFA at the end of next season. Desharnais, like I'd imagine, yeah, he's staying. And then Thrun, yeah, he's one of our young guys. Yeah, so I mean, if we end up finding somebody like who is a good, reliable veteran defenseman, like I think that's always helpful. But I guess we'll see what Greer thinks about all this, because yeah.
What do we know?
Yeah. I guess final feelings for me for this season, I think it'll be interesting to see some thoughts from Greer in terms of how he feels about this season, and possibly answering some questions around Couture. As we talked about, unless it's something definitive comes out, I try not to dive into the rabbit hole of speculation about things. But the fact that he's been, when we compare the Landeskog situation to Couture, like it just seems like there's a lot that's not being said, and I don't know how long the fan base is going to be okay with a lack thereof going forward.
But yeah, it's like, it's kind of that, we talk about yes, they're athletes and you hold them to the standard, but also they're people and deserve their privacy when they're going through something. So I don't really know how to look at it, because yes, as a fan, it is frustrating that, our captain is absent. It would be really helpful to have the young guys have someone present in the locker room that's helping them get their footing in, I don't know, how the game goes or whatever. And they have that in a bunch of veterans, but like, I feel like the captain being there is really important. But also, we don't know what Couture is dealing with, how his mental health is with all of that, because that guy wants to be playing. But if he's not, it's serious. We haven't heard anything about him touching the ice at all. Like, he's not making any progress there. Like, that injury seems very serious. So for me personally, I think it's basically the waiting game of when they're going to announce either his retirement or what, and it's good. At this rate, it's probably going to be a forced retirement. He's not going to want to, but if his body can't play, he can't play. And then this is a sport that you need to be present for. So I don't know. It sucks, but also what's the best choice?
On the positive side, given the situation that we're in, unlike a Landeskog situation, Logan's contract kind of helps us meet the salary floor. So it's not like a situation where we're just like, we can't seem to get the guys that are going to help us move forward because you're eating up $8 million of our salary caps. If people want to dive down the rabbit hole, I'm not saying don't do it, but it's something that I kind of see and I just tune it out because I'm like, but we don't know things. And I just feel like it would, for me, it would be emotionally exhausting to dive down that rabbit hole. We don't know, and they're not saying anything, and we're just going to have to decide how much that we're going to let that affect us or not. On the leadership side of things, I do not care that we don't have someone having a C stitched on their sweater, because as you mentioned, there's a lot of veterans in the lineup. Toffoli, Wenberg, Ferraro, even some of the younger guys, like how mature Celebrini is, given this space to be themselves, to have fun and whatever. But when they hit the ice, they're like down to business. We need to take every minute seriously. So, which is essentially what kind of is what you see in a captain. But when you put the C on someone, it's like, oh, you're the personification of all that. Is kind of like at the end of the day what the C sort of represents. So to not have someone with it right now, I don't really see it as like, it's just more people like the idea of having a captain and having someone wear it. I mean, how long did the Leafs go before they chose a C? And that was a whole drama thing that they ended up giving it to Tavares because Matthews did something in the offseason. Right. So all this to say that, like, for me, I don't care if someone has a C right now. We know it's going to go to Celebrini. He's going to be the next captain. We know, but he doesn't need to have that weight on him right now. Bro already carries around way too much on his plate, both his personal plate and then, the fact that he is the face of this franchise. I still feel like Not that I necessarily want any of those answers to be, that's not on the top of my list, but I do kind of feel like that is kind of creeping up on the surface for other folks and the franchise as a whole as we continue to move forward with this rebuild. I think that's kind of all that we got for you this week. I'm going to cherish this final week of Sharks hockey before we have to care about other NHL teams. But at least, like I said, I'm going to start shifting my focus over to our baby Sharks. They're hitting the playoff run, and it's going to be exciting not only for the team as a whole, but because there are going to be a number of guys in that lineup that you're going to be hoping make the next step into the Sharks next season. So if you're not already following the CUDA, you should check them out, especially if you're trying to find things to be excited about with this team. If you've been feeling not so great about stuff or whatever, there's stuff to be excited about. Other than that, that is it for us this week. I am your host, Jay.
And I'm Ness. Catch us next week, guys.
Bye.